Very good. Very good. We are live there. Okay, awesome, guys. So we are back again after 2 weeks. And we are going to start again tonight the book Thought and Life from the Spirit of Emmanuel by the mediumship of Chico Xavier. And as we have been doing every 2 weeks, we always start with a little prayer and then with our blessed water. And just before we do that, I just want to say hello to everybody here.
Hello.
Hello, Solange. Very good.
Hi, Angela. Hi, everybody.
Hello, awesome. Awesome to see you guys here. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Daniela. Welcome. Thank you so much. We are always facing little issues, but it will be better. So, just to make sure you guys have your water, so it will be blessed.
We're gonna get it.
And let's take a few seconds just to do our initial prayer, and then we start with our book Thought and Life, the lesson 6. So just relax, elevate our thoughts, and let's ask our guardian angels for protection and inspiration. So, dear Master Jesus, thank you so much for bringing us together here tonight again. Please help all of us to be able to be fully connected, trying to do our best in order to understand Emmanuel's words, and later on the elevated spirits who brought the beautiful message to the book Gospel according to Spiritism. So please stay with us and send these beautiful vibrations to our brothers and sisters who couldn't be here, but will be seeing this video later on. Thank you so much. So be it. So thank you, guys. Very nice seeing you. And let's try to see if Blue Jeans will be better than Facebook Live. If it's not, then we go back to the other one anyway. So right now, I will share with you my screen. By the way, the pages of both books, they are in our Facebook page, Miami InnerLight, Spiritist Studies. So if you don't have any of the books, just go to the page on Facebook and you can see the pages there. But I will also share my screen so you can see it here. So let's go. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I will start reading it. So, faith. It's not enough to admit the existence of a goodness in order to find it and assimilate its light. We must search for it with perseverance and fervor. No one doubts the existence of electricity, but for a lamp to light a room, we need wires that conduct the current from distant powerhouses to our homes. Nowadays, photography is a common phenomenon, yet in order for film to register an image, it must be sensitized and treated with the necessary chemicals. The human voice travels through radio waves across continents with perfect fidelity. However, it cannot do so without the electronic signal that transports the radio waves. We cannot therefore achieve anything without a positive attitude of confidence. But how can one express faith? People often ask. Faith cannot be defined in ordinary language. So let's see the other page here. And then we continue. It is a power that is born with the soul itself. It is an instinctive certainty in the wisdom of God, which is the wisdom of life itself. It breathes within all beings, and it vibrates in all things. It manifests in the fractured crystal that mends itself as well as in the felled tree that sprouts anew in the obedience to the laws of renewal which rule over all nature. Every kind of activity in life develops in one way or another by faith. The meadow expresses confidence in the power of spring and covers itself with flowers. The river depends of the experience of the spring in order to become a large, deep body of water. Having an ordinary meal is itself an act of faith. When taking nourishment, man is confident of his own digestive system, even if he cannot see it. All success in social life results from faith that the community has in the legal system that regulates life. By consciously using such energy, we can eliminate and undo the detours in the path of evolution. To achieve this, no matter what our religious interpretation of God, we must accentuate our own trust in good to reflect its excellence. Think of a lens and the sun. Our day star distributes its resources equally to all, but if we should converge its rays with an ordinary lens, we can have more of its power. Likewise, eternal good offers the same light to everyone. Yet, it concentrates by our positive inner certainty. We will reflect its glory more efficiently. Let us tirelessly seek good and waste no time with evil. The pruned branch offers fruits of the same quality as those produced before the mutilating blows. The spring reaches the river, washing away the mud thrown into it. And then the last page, the little tiny piece is it. Let us nourish our hearts in the living waters of inexhaustible good. Let us then seek the good in people, things and events that cross our path during our daily activities. By doing so, we will have the mirror of our mind turned towards goodness. Our mind will then incorporate into itself the eternal treasure and the happiness that is the child of faith. A happiness that is generous and dynamic, setting us free from the chains of evil. For goodness, ever constant and pure, will find in us its own truth.
Ooh.
Woo! Well, this book from Emmanuel is tough. The Emmanuel books, they are very powerful, and sometimes they can be confusing. But that's why it's good for us to be able to talk about it. So, what can we talk about faith? What do you think, Daniela?
I think I really like the metaphors that the book uses. Like I don't have the text here. Let me see here on the photos on Facebook, but I really like the metaphors that he used. You know, like the spring. Um,
Yes.
it's certain. You know that the metals are certain that spring will come, and then flowers will flourish there. So it's just an instinctive faith.
Yes. Yes. It's almost like we are all born with it or not.
Exactly.
Most of the people in our planet Earth, they have this intrinsic, inside of us. Even if the people do not believe in God, for example, they have something inside of them that make them wonder, is this possible? Is it not possible? Why most of the population talk about it? And this is it's natural for most of the people, like Emmanuel explains in the metaphors, like you said, for example, no one doubts the existence of electricity, but for a lamp to light a room, we need the wires that conduct the current from distant powerhouses to our home. The same thing about bacteria, for example. No one doubts its existence, but we can see it. So we can see it without a microscope. We need it to be able to see it. It exists. We know it exists. We just can't see. And it's funny because this is almost like if we bring it to Spiritism, it's almost like the mediums. The mediums, they can see spirits or they can hear voices. Most of us, we are mediums in a different sense because we have inspiration. So, but a few of us, they really see it and they tell the other people, no, I saw a person here. But most of the people, they cannot see it. But it doesn't mean it does not exist. It is something that most of us cannot see with our eyes, but it's possible to exist. And us in Spiritism, we know it exists. We know this is true. So when we continue with the metaphors. Oh, by the way, guys, if you wanna comment anything, please let me know. I cannot read any comments on Facebook. I lost my cell phone, but as soon as I get a new cell phone, I will be able to read what is written there. So Emmanuel continues, for example, the human voice travels through radio waves across continents with perfect fidelity. However, it cannot do so without the electronic signal that transport radio waves. So a lot of things happen and we know it happens, but sometimes we don't know how it happens. But it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. For example, for us, we trust that we will be able to digest the food, like he says here. Let me see where he says it also. I actually like that example. Let me see what it is.
The nourishment of the body.
Yeah, the nourishment. I cannot see the paragraph just because I'm searching for it. But he mentions it that we trust the nourishment will be good for us and that our digestive system will work on it. But it's not that we know exactly how does it work. We trust that it will be good and it will work it. And we have faith that everything will be good. So a lot of things in our lives, we don't realize, we don't think about it. We just, it's almost like automatic. It's an automatic way that we see and we live a lot of things. And we don't stop to think that is almost an act of faith. It's almost an act of faith that we eat and we know that our organism will be working on that to be able to digest, helping us to survive. But we don't think, like, how is it? I put in my mouth, then it's going to go through my throat, to the esophagus, and go get it. We don't think about that. So it's really interesting when he starts talking about all of this. And on page 30th, he says, it is a power that is born with the soul itself. So what is this power that he's talking about? This power he's talking about is faith. This is this faith that is born with us. And sometimes some of us, we rebel against it. And especially when something goes bad, that's how we as human beings, we have this tendency when something doesn't go exactly how we would like to do or how we would like it to go, we rebel. We lose our faith, even if momentary. And then we start like, why me? Why me? A lot of people love to say, why me? Why this thing is happening to me? I'm such a good person. I don't deserve it. But at the same time, we think, why not me? What do I have of so special that it couldn't happen to me? We are all kids of God. We are all their children. And we know that we are here on earth, and we know that earth is still a planet of trials and expiations. And we all will need to go through some things. Certain things are very difficult. But if this is happening, it's because we need it. It's not a punishment from God. It's really something that will help us to be able to evolve. And of course, every time something difficult is happening to us, it's painful and it can bring a lot of animosity, and it could bring issues with faith, for example. Why I'm talking about that? I'm just talking about that because we have this tendency. We have a tendency when everything is good, oh, God, thank you, I love God, God is wonderful, I have so much faith, life is beautiful. That's awesome. But we really have to be like this when we are being tested. For us, we can say it's being tested. In reality, it's not just tested, we are going through what we need to go through in order to improve, in order to better ourselves. Sometimes this is a test of something that we already learned in our previous incarnation or in our spiritual life, and then we come to this life to go through it, to make sure we learn. Or is a trial. It's something that we will have to go through, and it's not easy. And we will have to demonstrate, we will be able to overcome it. So when we are able to do this in a positive way, in a good way, that's really demonstrating that we have faith. Because this strong faith, it's really demonstrated when we are going through pain. Because when everything is good, to say that I'm a faithful person, it's easy. It's just that it's really tough when we are going through difficult times. That's when we really have the opportunity of demonstrating that we have it. And I'm sure that you guys probably already met somebody that sometimes people that were really faithful, and when they went through problems, then they start cursing God, or they start saying, I don't believe in this anymore, this is why God is doing this to me. In any religion, in any kind of faith, and us in Spiritism, we understand that this is really something much deeper, something much stronger. That's not exactly how most of the religions understand that we are suffering because we are being punished. And this is not true. We are not being punished. God is not this this old man that's in the sky, just like deciding who he's going to punish today. And it's not like that. If it was like that, it would be really crazy. Huh? Like, okay, today let's see. Solange or Angela? Let's see. And it's not like that. It's not like that. Thank God. We are still in a planet of trials and expiation. So going through difficult problems is normal. If you know one person that's absolutely happy, this is a miracle. And if you know more than one that say my life is fantastic, not really, because even if my life right now is fantastic, yes, let's suppose my life is perfect, but don't you think I know somebody who is going through difficult times? And if I don't feel the pain of the other, it means that I'm not a sensible person. Like I don't have feelings towards them. So if I don't have feelings towards them, that's already like strange, because the future of our planet will be that we are all brothers and sisters, really, not just blood related, but spiritually related. Just a story for you. Tonight, my boss in New York City, he will be sleeping in Times Square. My boss, he will be sleeping on the streets in Times Square to raise funds for teenagers that are homeless.
Wow.
So I just found out about this project today. I didn't know. He have done this already for 3 other times. He's not going to do it alone. He's doing it with other businessmen, other business people. They will be together. But this is a beautiful project that I had no idea. So they create a web page. There is I will actually publish in Facebook when we finish. But there is a homeless shelter in Manhattan, specialized for teenagers, for young adults. And they help them to be reinserted in society, help them to get a job, help them to get classes, to be able to go back to work. And then this people, there are so many ways to help. But then, if you want, you can volunteer yourself to participate of certain projects. And one of the projects is this one that my boss is going to
Wow,
Manhattan
that's
to
interesting.
sleep in a how do you say,
On a bench.
on a bench? No, it's like that kind of mattress that has a zipper. Forgot the name.
Oh yeah, a sleep
And
sack.
Sleeping bag.
a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So he's gonna be sleeping in Times
Wow,
Square in a
but it's so
sleeping bag tonight.
cold.
I don't even know the temperature. I'm in
It's
Miami.
really
It's
cold.
hot. Yes.
Cold.
It's like
So
4.
when I saw, I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. He already raised a lot of money. I think he raised $4,000. So
Wow.
everybody in the company and his personal friends, we are donating money for him because of what he's doing. But this money will be transferred to this foundation, this shelter in Manhattan, to help this cause. So this is beautiful. And he has faith he will survive.
He will.
And it's so nice. And coming back to what I was saying before, that sometimes you talk to people and this person say, I'm super happy, my life is fantastic. But in reality, when we have a broader thought, we can never say that. Because even if our life is perfect, we still are connected with other people, with other human beings that are going through pain, that are going through difficult situations. And for example, in our Spiritism Center in Manhattan, Inner Enlightenment, we have many projects to help. We have the loving bags in Manhattan that will help. homeless people, we have the elderly in the nursing homes. So when you know the situation of them through whatever they are going through, you feel the pain. So one day we will be able to have a life that's going to be so much happier in the sense that will not exist the millionaires and the super poor people, because all these trials and expiations will be a little bit more balanced, will not exist so much such a big discrepancies, will be much better. But I'm not saying like next life. This will take many lives. Our consciousness will evolve, and we will be able to be better people. We will be able to be more charitable to anyone, not just like to our mothers and fathers or our close family members, but we will be more charitable. We will be more loving, and then this will bring this beautiful balance that our planet needs, and it will happen. I have faith on this. We
Angela,
know this will happen.
Angela, that's nice. There is always a song that I like to sing in the difficult moments in Portuguese. I don't know if there is English. You can help me.
Which song?
The one like this. Segura na mão de Deus.
E vai. Yes. Yes, this is a beautiful song. This is a beautiful song. I don't know the song in English, but to the ones who don't understand the Portuguese, it means like hold on God's
Hold your
hand
hand
and go.
and
That
go.
you will be helped. Your problems,
Yes,
they will not disappear, but you are not alone. You will go through
yes.
it in good company. Yes, that's very good. That's very
Yeah,
good.
I love the song.
Yeah, our friend Vanessa Anceloni loves to sing. She's
Oh
always
yeah, I
singing.
like it.
Yeah, I admire her. She has a very nice voice. I don't have it. My next life, I will work on my voice. This life, not really, but it's okay. It's okay. We
It's okay,
try.
don't worry.
Yeah, we try our best with whatever we have. So, guys, what else would you like to talk about faith? Let me know if you have any comments, if you'd like to mention anything else.
I actually would like to mention something that um, I thought it was really interesting, that the text is about faith in good or in goodness. You know what I mean? Like it's so it can work for any religion actually. The
Yes,
faith doesn't have to be from one specific religion, or even people that don't have a religion
yes,
can have faith, because it's about the good in people, the good in things, or the good, the goodness.
yes, correct. Exactly, correct. You don't even need to have any religion. You
Yeah.
have faith in your own potential, in your own light, in your inner light. And this is
Exactly.
what many times make people who say they are atheists, they don't believe in anything else,
Yeah,
to be great people. They are
exactly.
great people because they believe in their inner light. So they believe that they will do good because they want. They don't believe like us that we believe in an afterlife. We believe that there are causes and consequences, but they believe they are good people and they want to do good things. And this is wonderful. That's if everybody could think just like that, our planet would already evolve so much quicker, so
We
much
will be
quicker.
there. We will be there, Angela.
Yes, we will. Like I was talking to Divaldo Franco months ago. I wanted to do something, and I'm so impatient when I want to do something. I'm like desperate to do it. And I remember Divaldo said, Divaldo said to me, Angela, don't worry, it will happen. And then I'm like, really? I think it's gonna happen in my terms. And then he saw my face and he's like, not as you want right now, but it will happen.
Yeah, you
Said,
have to wait.
oh, really? I got like a little upset. And then he told me, it will happen in the proper time, in the proper moment, when everybody is prepared for that. Right
Hello,
now, it's not happening, but oh, hello, Franklin.
hello, hello. Sorry, I was listening everything, but I'm so tired today that I don't want to show my face.
Ah,
I
don't
was
worry.
driving all day. I'm feeling exhausted. And something, I don't want to say what happened, but something happened with a friend, close friend of mine. Very, very upsetting. Um, so anyway, and I'm so, you know, it was an intense day for me. But I was listening to what you just said about the planet and the change that's coming probably in a few centuries. And and what happened is I've been listening to um, some videos on Facebook, and I know that for sure that's gonna happen the way you just said. So not on our time, but in the future, in the maybe near future, because
Yes.
what we feel today in the world, it's so intense. Things that's happening so fast and in a terrible way, like all the all the frustration, the, the situation with the politics and in Brazil and here, the war, the upcoming war against between America and North Korea is a possibility. So
Yeah.
so much to dig in and so much to try to simulate, and I feel like listening to those videos, I feel like, well, maybe it's not in our lifetime, but probably for your grandson, or maybe even your grandchild, so they
Yes.
can experience a better world. But definitely, like as much as I would like to be positive, I feel like, of course, this is not a negative way to think, but what I'm saying, like, maybe we're gonna have a big destruction going on in the world before everything goes back to the better way to live, like with people loving each other more and respecting. But unfortunately, to clean this whole mess, we're gonna need to really shake the world.
Yeah, we don't really know what could happen. It's always a bad possibility. It's always
Mhm.
a danger. But we know that our planet is protected, and our guides and the guides of all the presidents are always inspiring them to the better.
Right.
But we all have our will, and what will be decided. It's very important and very dangerous at the same time. But we can't live, in fear. We
Now,
have
of
to do
course.
always our best. We have to pray, and we
Pray.
know that we are protected. We are not like whatever is gonna happen to us. But
Mhm.
it is always a dangerous possibility. But we have to pray and be faithful that the best will be happening. And
Yeah.
as you said, uh, like so whoever could read a book, I don't know the title of the book right now, but it was also psychographic by Divaldo Franco, and he talks about the catastrophes, for example, tsunamis.
Mhm.
And when we hear about tsunami, I'm sorry?
Planetary transitions.
Yes! Awesome! Thank you for the help. Yes, in the planetary transition, uh, there you can get all kinds of information, understanding all the transformations that already happened and that are happening right now. For example, tsunamis. When we see it, we just see terrible things. Thousands of people dead, and we see all the cities and the country sometimes devastated, and it's horrible. Yes, at that moment is horrible. It's very painful. We never see death and destruction as really good in our eyes, in our physical eyes. But when we look with the spiritual eyes, it's very different. Because, yeah, sometimes the energy is so dense, so condensed in negative happenings. They keep attracting negative things, that sometimes a big cleansing has to happen to start all over. And, we don't know. But as we understand that the life is eternal, if we lose this body here, we will come back in a new one, in a better one.
And that's the beauty of the Spiritism, because
Yes.
we know that you're not just like a body. We are a spirit inside a casual body. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we're not here for this short time.
Yes,
And
exactly.
so it's interesting to of course to mentalize better things for the world, but I believe we are going to be, it's a necessary thing to happen to the world, to clean all this kind of bad spirits that are already populating everywhere. So to get rid of this energy, I don't think is going to be an easy thing. It's gonna happen,
Yeah,
and it will be
it is not easy, but it doesn't mean that's impossible. And
right.
the all the presidents, they have spiritual guides that are working so hard, guiding them towards the better, not for their own countries, but for the planet itself. So we have to have faith that the best will happen.
Of
And if
course.
it doesn't happen, we don't need to get desperate, because we will be back in a different way. We don't know how, but we pray that the best will win, and our country will be able, our country, our planet will be able to remain, and we will be back after this life, even if no catastrophe happens, and we hope so. We will be back. And sometimes when we say, "Oh, our kids or our grandkids," we have to know that sometimes we are our grandkids. It's very funny to think so,
Right.
but sometimes we become our own grandkids because we die. Our kids will have kids or kids of the kids, and we are back because we know that most of the times we reincarnate in the same family center, not exactly in the same positions, but we can be a grandkid, or we can be the best friend of our grandkids. So we will be very, very close related. So we can all evolve. We can all evolve together.
Keeping the
So,
practice of love, right?
sorry?
Keeping the practice of love.
Yes, that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing for all of us. Like, if you don't like somebody, I always say it's very hard, but we have to see what is the good in that person. If you have issues with that person, what is the good thing there? And let's pray for this good thing. Like, for example, these two presidents, two very hard-headed presidents.
Mhm.
But they have light inside of themselves. They have a beautiful light. It's just that when the darkness is showing off too much, it's harder to see it. But that's the important thing for us, to practice the goodness in ourselves, praying for them, because when we get aggravated, angry, and we start just talking bad about this person or that person, we bring more negative energy, and this is exactly what we don't want to do. It so it's like a homework, a good homework for us, to be able to see what do they have good in them, and pray for that, and pray for them to be able to reach to solutions in a peaceful way, because it's not better for the countries, it's better for the whole planet. They are dealing with very important powers. So we want the goodness for our whole planet. That's the most important thing. So this is a good homework for us to pray for these two presidents. So if we don't have anything else in this beautiful book, we can go to the gospel. Let me know if you have anything else you want to comment. Let me just finalize with the last paragraph because it's very beautiful. That's more or less what I just said. Let us then seek the good in people, things and events that cross our path during our daily activities. By doing so, we will have the mirror of our mind turned towards goodness. Our mind will then incorporate into itself the eternal treasure and the happiness that is the child of faith. So the happiness is the child of faith. A happiness that is generous and dynamic, setting us free from the chains of evil, for goodness ever constant and pure will find in us its own truth. So that's exactly what I was mentioning. We have to see the good in every person, and then we have to pray for that to flourish, and then we are helping our planet and we are helping ourselves, and this is the most important thing that we could do to help. So my friends, now let's go to the gospel. I love the gospel. It's a beautiful book, and it helps us so much with our daily practice of goodness. So let's see where we stopped the last time. We actually stopped on page 21. We are still in the introduction. We stopped in the page 21 on the top paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
So this is universality in the Spirit's teaching. Do you have the book? Everybody has the book there?
Yes, I have.
Can you share the page?
Page 21. Yes, so let me share this with you. Yes. So, can you see it?
Now, yes.
Okay, so I will read, let's read a little bit and comment and we go on. So we are in the gospel in the introduction. This universality in the Spirit's teaching is what comprises Spiritism power, and it is also the cause of its rapid spread. While the voice of one single individual, even with the help of the press, would require centuries to reach everyone, thousands of voices are making themselves heard simultaneously at all points of earth, proclaiming the same principles and transmitting them to both the most unlearned and the most learned, so that no one may be disinherited. This is an advantage that none of the doctrines that have spread until today have enjoyed. If, therefore, Spiritism is a truth, it will fear neither the ill will of humans, moral revolutions, nor the physical disturbances of the globe, because none of these things can affect the spirits. So, we are in the title, The Authority of the Spiritist Doctrine, Universal Test of the Spirit's Teachings. So, what is this paragraph teaching us? What is this little piece telling us? Did you understand what the spirits are explaining here? Actually, what is being said here that Kardec brought to us? He's basically, yes.
The thing is, it's all about the universality in the Spirit's teaching. Is what happened that time to allow spirits in each part of the world to to let me see, to display or to share what the spiritual realm was trying to teach us. So that kind of like opportunity was unique in time. And that's why Spiritism became so important, because it was validated by different people in different countries. That's what I understood.
Yes, exactly. So that's exactly what it's saying. This universality of the Spiritist teachings, it was universal because the Spiritist teachings, they were brought by many different mediums in many different languages, different countries, and also by level. It even mentions here these thousands of voices that were heard simultaneously at all points of earth, proclaiming the same principle. So all these different messages, they were happening more or less at the same time, saying the exactly same things, but in different points of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, at that time we didn't have internet, so there was no way that somebody sending an quick email there and say, "Hey, look at this,"
Right.
a quick WhatsApp. No, no, it took sometimes took months for a letter to go from one place to
Wow.
another. I remember when I was dating my husband. He lived in the United States and I lived in Brazil, and he used to write me letters, and sometimes took a full month, or if a problem happened, 2 months for a letter to arrive. The letters, the cheap way of sending, the way I used, they were by boat, not
Oh
airplane.
God.
The airplane were more expensive.
Yeah, now the
So
amazing.
Nice.
how things evolved is unbelievable. Nowadays, things are so quick. It's
Everything
like
is fast.
it's like you send a WhatsApp message. If the person don't
Oh,
answer in 10 minutes, you're like, "Oh my God, what happened? I can't believe she's mad at me."
Exactly.
exactly.
The,
But
the, the, the,
Angela,
it's amazing how it's fast nowadays.
I have a question. For example, I would like to know how Kardec joined all this information from different parts of the world. How that happened? Do you know about it?
Yes. Well, first of all, Kardec, he was very famous, not as being Kardec, but as being Professor Revile. He was a very famous educator. He had schools, as very different type of school in that time. Was a very modern concept of school. So he was very famous. He used to travel a lot for business. And then when he joined Spiritism, he didn't want to, use his famous name, Professor Revile. He started using the code name Kardec, but he continued traveling a lot. And he started traveling even more because of Spiritism. He started hearing about mediums in different cities or different countries. So he started traveling there to bring his knowledge and also to bring spiritism. So in a certain point of his life, he was already known in lots of different points of Earth, of Europe, especially Europe. So a lot of people, when they used to receive a message from a spirit, for example, a lot of people start saying, "Oh, there is a man in France named by Kardec, and he is collecting messages from spirits for a book." And then that's how people start, "Oh, let's send the information." And nowadays it's not so easy, but in the past, the word of mouth was very powerful. And we also know that when the spirits, they want something to happen,
That's
they
exactly,
really
exactly.
help.
That's what I
They
was thinking
really,
now.
yeah, they really makes things to connect.
Right.
And
That's the one explanation. That's the only explanation. I feel like in different parts of the world, how they could know about it. But as you said, this when there is a reason for it to happen. The spirits will make the connection.
Yes, yes, it will happen. And most of us, we many times we think, oh, there is such a coincidence that when I arrived in that place, a person was talking about, I know, spiritism, and it's such a
Yeah.
coincidence. It's not a
That is not
coincidence,
a question.
it was meant to be. It was meant to be for you to listen to that conversation that was happening at that moment, so you could just say, I'm sorry, did I really hear about this? And then you start talking, and then for some reason you both would have to meet. And they're exactly the same thing. So you imagine the mission of Kardec was something so big and so important. And the spirits knew he was capable of doing it. So the spirits knew that he was going to be able to codify these messages, because let's imagine all these messages happening from different languages. Also, it's not all in French, because
Right.
he spoke French, it was his main language, but he also spoke few other languages, many other languages. And he started receiving these letters. But if he wasn't a very organized person to be able to coordinate all this, it would be lost. Imagine you receiving all these messages in different languages, and you had to translate, to analyze, and to organize by titles. As you see, of the Spirit's book, they are so organized. He was able to create the Spirit's book, and then from the Spirit's book, he started taking different topics, and he started expanding on mediumship. So he was really an amazing organizing. That's why he was such a wonderful teacher. His way of thinking was really very organized the way, and that's why Spiritism is so easy for us to analyze and to understand, because of his power of coordination. So, but that's exactly what happened, and that's exactly the power of the Spirit's teachings, because the same message came in many different languages, different places, and he also mentions that it was received by the most unlearned and the most learned, so that no one may be disinherited of the message. And the first mediums that Kardec received the messages, they were two children, two sisters, two very young sisters.
Fox.
So the messages, these two sisters, not the Fox sisters. Fox sisters was a different, totally different people in the United States, and Kardec was in Paris. So the messages were from these two sisters, daughters of one of Kardec's friends, that they were working together during that turning tables phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
So these two young girls, one was like 12, and the other was like 14. They were receiving these very powerful messages from the Spirit's book. So when you take the very difficult ones, and you imagine there was a girl that was like 11, 12 years old who wrote that, you know this was not from her. This was really from somewhere else, because a young kid wouldn't be able to write something so deep and powerful like that. So this is the very, very important thing that made really a lot of people start believing in Spiritism. So this is already 10 o'clock. Time passes fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Time passes so fast. And thank you so much for you guys being here. It was very, very nice. Thank you, Franklin, Solange, Daniela, Teresa.
Thank you.
This was very, very good. I'm very happy that we were able to do our study And now I just would like to invite you to think about your water that will be blessed. And let's elevate our thoughts and do our final prayer of the night. Almighty God, our dear and loving Jesus, thank you so much for bringing us here tonight. Thank you for helping us to understand these two beautiful books that we read and studied tonight. Please help us to continue our efforts in bettering ourselves, so one day our beautiful planet Earth will be populated by loving beings. And these loving beings will be us, returned here to live in a much better society, because we will be better people. But until then, Master Jesus, help us to be better day by day, little by little, but help us in our continuous effort in goodness. And please help us again to come back in 2 weeks so we can continue studying together. Thank you so much. So be it.
So be it.
Thank you, Angie.
Very good, guys. Thank you so much. It was awesome. Thank you for your participation. And I see you guys soon.
Take care.
Have a
Thank you.
wonderful night.
Have a
You
good
too.
dreams,
Bye bye.
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.